Hi everybody, I am ARMR, and what I watched today is Book 3, Chapter 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Painted Lady. We open with the crew traveling down a polluted river. It's like brown, just filled with disgusting sludge, a rampant side effect of the rampant industrialism of the Fire Nation. And, going down it, they find a Fire Nation town in the middle of this large, polluted lake along the river. A kind local offers them a ride into town. They pose again as Earth Nation colonials, since that is the, most accepted excuse for why these people are traveling in the Fire Nation. And they learn from the local that the village on the lake used to be a fishing village until the army made a factory nearby to make their metal and gunked up the river. Seeing the town in such a bad state, Katara, you can see in her eyes, she wants to help out. She even says as much, but everyone's, saying it's like their mission comes first. They're on a tight timetable, and they can't risk missing the eclipse to help one village when the fate of the world rides on it. And, I get that, but at the same time, I kind of side with Katara here. And naturally, Katara is going to get her way eventually. I mean, you can see the pain in her eyes. You can also see the determination there. It's just the kind of person she is. We do get a comedic person in this episode, a new character called Doc, and I think he's also later called, Shop or something like that. But he's basically a kind of crazy guy who thinks he thinks he's his own brothers, basically. He just keeps switching hats. It's kind of a neat way for them to break up the sad scenes with this kind of comedic character who can give us a bit of a laugh. And Sokka in this episode is obsessed with his schedule, get to the Fire Lord, invasion, etc. Though he has a bit of a point. The eclipse only happens once, and it only lasts for 8 minutes, and then it probably won't happen again for another 100 years. So they really do need to capitalize it. They have to be there in time. Though they wake the next morning and they find Appa sick. His tongue turned purple. And, Sokka at first is like, no, my schedule! And I love how everyone just glares at him. It's like, what, you don't care about Appa? And he's like, no, I care about Appa too. But my schedule! They go to the village to see if they have any medicine and find that, in contrast to the previous day, there are people running around, there's laughter and happiness. And they are informed that during the night, the Painted Lady brought them food. The patron spirit of the village is this Painted Lady. We transition to a night scene and see the Painted Lady seemingly glide into town across the lake, mist all around her. She heals the village's sick in a very familiar way, and then vanishes into the night. We're shown her eyes and see pretty plainly that it's Katara. So, it's even if her friends don't agree, Katara is Katara. She's gonna help these people out. And then the next day makes a dark but relevant point, since, or at least Sokka does, because he points out that as soon as the Painted Lady stops helping the people here, things will go back to the way they are, unable to fend themselves and praying for a spirit's return instead of learning to be better and help themselves. A slight diversion here, this is actually the same argument made by one of my favorite versions of Lex Luthor about Superman. He feels that Superman holds humanity back because they keep relying on him to solve all their problems. He thinks that humanity could learn on its own to handle all these alien conquerors and other threats that Superman keeps solving for them. But because he is there, they never do. They never grow better or evolve because Superman is holding them back. Not willingly, but by being a super babysitter. And I know that seems like a hell of a tangent, but that's essentially what Sokka is saying here about Katara. That, well, he doesn't know it's Katara, but about the Painted Lady, that whoever this spirit really is, they're holding the village back. And, yeah, I sort of agree with him, but at the same time, it would be really hard not to do anything. Aang spots Katara sneaking out the next night and chases her into town, then through town to the opposite bank, and he eventually catches up with her. He figures out pretty fast that it's Katara, and I thought he was going to be angry with her at first, but he right away just goes, okay, let's go destroy the plant. And, Katara reveals that Appa isn't sick, she's just been feeding him purple berries to make his tongue purple. And, Aang is totally on board with this spirit thing. He's like, you know what? That's awesome. You're helping people. And really, that's who Aang is, too. He's as the Avatar, he exists to bring people hope. And he loves to help others. So, how could he be angry at Katara for just trying to help people? So they go together into the factory and destroy it in spectacular fashion. Water, air, just everywhere. Even a bit of earthbending to wreck up some pipes. They succeed, but as the group packs up the next morning, they see Fire Nation men from the factory advancing on the village, about to attack it in retaliation. Assuming the villagers are to blame, because really the Fire Nation troops don't know anything about this group of other people here. And, yeah, while Katara's heart may have been in the right place, she didn't think her actions through. She's perhaps brought something even worse down on these people. And Sokka starts yelling at Katara about that very point, finishing by saying she should have left and done nothing. But it's here that Katara makes her own really good point and shows her strength of character once again. She stares Sokka down and declares she'll never turn her back on someone who needs her. And yeah, I can totally get that. It is, if you have the ability to help people, you have the responsibility to do so. She just could have done it a way better way and, maybe thought her actions through a little better. I can't say that I'd have been able to do it better in her place. I mean, hindsight is 20/20 and I am standing out here watching from the outside. But, yeah, after seeing her resolve, Sokka, decides to help. And between the bunch of them, they enact an amazing plan. But before we see that, we see the army commander, yelling at the villagers. Declaring them a village of thieves and liars, because, obviously he doesn't believe the story of a painted lady just helping them. The food crates have the Fire Nation army symbol on them, etc. He's just going, do you really expect me to believe that some mystic spirit did this when it's far more likely that you guys just stole from us? He starts burning the village, his soldiers start destroying the village in retaliation, and that's when a thick mist rolls in. The Sokka and Toph use these, awesome Foley techniques to create this otherworldly sound along with Appa, resonating across the lake. And Katara glides across the water with her bending, and makes her appearance once again as the Painted Lady. It's a really cool scene that follows, with Aang using his airbending secretly to also, destroy the dock a little, push away the soldiers, and make her look even more powerful as a spirit. But after the army is driven away, the villagers discover who Katara is and grow angry. It's how dare you impersonate our spirit and get us in so much trouble? How dare you bring this upon our village? But Katara delivers a really good speech here. She tells them that, yeah, she shouldn't have lied. But she couldn't just stand around and do nothing. Their problems are real, and they can't wait around for a spirit to help them. They have to stand on their own. They have to take action and fend for themselves. Nothing will get better unless you take action and make it better. Yeah, there might be a spirit around, but you can't rely on them. You have to be part of the cycle. You have to take action for yourself. And this inspires the villagers. They go, you know what? Yeah, we do. We have to do something. Let's clean up the river. Naturally, the Avatar crew sticks around to help, and they spend the rest of the day cleaning the river, making surprisingly fast progress. And that night, Katara meets and is thanked by the real spirit of the Painted Lady. Again, this is a world where spirits are very real. And as we saw before with Aang and the spirit of that destroyed forest, while they can have an effect on the real world, it is what we do that affects them the strongest. That forest spirit was rampaging because of what humans did to destroy its forest. It only stopped when Aang stepped in and showed it. Look, there is hope. Your forest will regrow, the cycle will continue. The Painted Lady spirit only showed up after the villagers took charge and decided to help fix the cycle themselves. You can't just sit around waiting for a spirit to help you. They will help you once you start helping them. Maybe the village will be prosperous once again now that they have cleaned up the river. They will receive the Painted Lady's blessing again, more than likely in the fish they catch. At least that's how I saw it. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next episode.